Welcome back to Winning Isn't Easy. Now, we've been talking about the need for neuropsychological testing before or during an ERISA disability claim. So let's continue this discussion. One of the most important factors is who should do the testing. Now, quite frankly, I don't think you should make the decision, one, whether or not you're going to undergo testing and with whom, without consulting with an experienced ERISA disability or IDI disability attorney, such as myself. There really is too much at stake. Now, if you choose to undergo the testing, once you understand the terms of the policy and policy limitations, your treating physician should make a recommendation, and you should check out whoever your doctor is recommending before you attend the appointment. So you want to vet that neuropsychologist to determine if they're claimant friendly, and you can do that in a number of ways. You can actually do a search online by the doctor under a system called PACER, or you can use Google Scholar to see if that doctor has actually been listed in cases, and you'll get a sense of which way the wind blows. Again, I think that vetting is key, and you should be consulting with an attorney before you set that appointment, because we attorneys are very familiar with who the players are in the neuropsychological world. Now, after you vetted them, of course, you need to make sure that they take insurance and that insurance is your insurance, because we don't want you to pay out of pocket. But, there are times when you have to pay out of pocket to get this information. The issue ultimately is, what is the testing that the neuropsychologist is going to be using? Because we want them to do meaningful testing. You're complaining that you're having problems, for example, as a stockbroker, doing split-second math calculations in your head or making decisions as to buying or selling. Those are things that have come naturally to you, but they're part of your executive functioning. And we can have the neuropsychological evaluation testing directed to those kinds of cognitive issues, because ultimately we need to establish that there is an objective basis for these complaints and that the testing documents that you are, in fact, are having these problems, and that these problems are impacting your ability to perform the material and substantial duties of your occupation. So I want you to remember that this testing will document that you have a medically determinable impairment and not just subjective complaints about your memory. Disability carriers hate subjective complaints, particularly, I'm having problems with short-term memory or long-term memory, or I can't remember this or I can't remember that. So the testing is important to establish an objective basis of the diagnosis and to prove that causal relationship between the diagnosis and your inability to perform your own and any other occupation. Now, what should you do if your disability carrier has scheduled you for a neuropsychological IME? Well, first you need to understand there is nothing independent about this evaluation. This neuropsychological evaluation is being used to set you up for a claim denial or termination, and you need help now. What I try to do is to put limits on the liar for hire neuropsychological evaluation, and we do that by at least attempting to video the first part of the interview. Now, neuropsychologists will generally not allow the testing to be videotaped because they'll argue that it's proprietary, which I think is not correct. But in any event, courts have upheld that denial, or that reason, if you will, for prohibiting the videotaping of testing. So we do want to try to video the initial consultation prior to the testing. But the other thing that I do, quite frankly, is I have a neuropsychological evaluation done prior to the disability carrier's neuropsychological evaluation. Why is that? Well, for a number of reasons. One is I want to have a favorable opinion in advance of what's most likely going to be an unfavorable opinion. But also, I want specific testing done that will test what I think is important. And then thirdly, I want to be able to argue to the carrier's neuropsychological IME that based on recency of testing, that you shouldn't have repeat testing and that they should be evaluating the raw data of your testing. So there are at least three things that we try to do to protect you in a neuropsychological evaluation. So let's take a break.
Are you a professional with questions about your individual disability policy? You need the Disability Insurance Claim Survival Guide for Professionals. This book gives you a comprehensive understanding of your disability policy with tips and to-dos regarding your disability application that will assist you in submitting a winning disability application. This is one you won't want to miss. For the next 24 hours, we are giving away free copies of the Disability Insurance Claim Survival Guide for Professionals. Order yours today at disabilityclaimsforprofessionals.com.